AFTV DT, what can we say? That was more like it. That was a confident, commanding performance. You know, Sam Allardyce would have been hoping that, you know, his team were going to come. They were going to, especially when all that snow was falling and that.
Yeah.
But Arsenal, snow didn't bother them right from the off. They were at it today. And Kieran Tierney set it off with a great goal, and we never looked back.
No, and Sam Allardyce needs to stop running his mouth and talking about us and concentrate on his own team. He's only just turned up at West Brom. His objective is to keep him in the Premier League, yet they look worse under him than they did under Bilic. So focus on your own team. The fact that he was very clearly trying to get the game called off says everything.
Do you think he was?
Of course he was. The guy's been back in the Premier League 2 weeks and he's already asking for games to be called off because of COVID. And now he's got snow as an excuse. Get out of here, man. That was...
Reminds me of somebody.
What's that?
Reminds me of somebody apart from they had the rain. But
at the end of it, look, today's performance was so comprehensive. It was so nice to see Arsenal play with confidence and fluidity. And people will go, oh, it's West Brom. You weren't saying it's only West Brom when they drew at Manchester City or they drew at Anfield. You know, so you can't have it, you know, both ways. At the end of the day, you've got to beat what's in front of you. And the one thing that we've been struggling to do is beat what's in front of us. We've now won 3 games on the spin. If you look at all the results over this Christmas period, everybody struggled to get victories if they've got a victory. There's been a lot of draws between a lot of the teams. And, you know, the sides that have won games, they haven't been winning them convincingly. They've had to scrape through the odd goal. Or so you look at it and you say to yourself, you know what, I'm pleased with that because it's 3 wins. We score 3 goals against Chelsea. We then have a tough game away to Brighton where we've got a bad record in recent years. And then we go to West Brom. Weather wasn't great. Sam Allardyce is meant to be the master tactician, and we all know about issues he's given us once upon a time. And it was just a dominant, commanding performance. And again, the kids, I don't even want to call them kids anymore because they're not playing like kids. They're playing like men. And they're literally grabbing the team by the scruff of the neck and they're bringing everybody to the forefront. Kieran Tierney for me today was superb. But then what do you expect when you saw it snowing? That was probably a summer's day to Kieran Tierney. You know, everyone else is wrapping up warm. He's out there trying to get a tan. You know what I mean? And the other person I want to mention, because he's gone about his business so quietly in the last 3 games without anybody really saying too much, Pablo Mari. He's been absolutely excellent. £3.5 million. And he's came in, just goes about his business, nothing flashy, just does the job, does exactly what it says on the tin. Rob Holding, he's been excellent as well in the last couple of games or so. Bern Leno hasn't really had much to do in the last 3 games, but what he has had to do, he's been commanding, he's been assured. It's absolutely, even Hector Bellerin's been stepping up. I'll get up with him in a minute. I was starting from the back, but I think the substitution for Mikel Arteta to take Hector Bellerin off was a smart one because start of the second half, West Brom were bombing down our left-hand side. The conditions were a little slippy and everything. And I think he looked at Hector and said, on a yellow card, last thing we need is to put ourselves in a bad situation again. Take him off, put Maitland-Niles on, job done. And then we go and score the 3rd goal, and it's game over anyway. Emil Smith-Rowe has been an absolute breath of fresh air to this team. Bukayo Saka, people will talk about him and rave about him. We've been doing it all season. And when we've been saying how good he is and he's the best young English talent, and we've seen all these comparisons with other youngsters at other clubs, we get called every name under the sun, delusional, and this, that. Now they're all sitting there going, you know what, maybe they were right about him. He is decent, isn't he? And Lacazette, like you said, the way that he seems like the dad of the group. And I don't want to disrespect him in that sense, but given the age gap, he is like that dad of them. And he's just knitting them all together, and the way that we're linking up and the way that we're playing. That 2nd goal we scored today, that I don't want to see that on Arsenal.com. I want to see that on Pornhub. Honestly, that was stunning. 20 plus pass move. People sit there and ask, what kind of identity do we have? Can Mikel Arteta give us some form of identity? We've seen that goal on multiple occasions now. Not enough, and we know. But what that does show is that Mikel has got a game plan. He has got a style that he wants this team to play. What he needs is the tools to succeed and do that. So anybody that says that we haven't got a game plan under Mikel or we're boring or this, that, the other, understand you've seen glimpses of what he's capable of doing, but he now needs the tools. Go and give him the tools. And this is why I backed him all along.
I was going to say, you know, I mean, it must be pleasing for you as somebody who really, really backed the manager when he was in some really tough times, the loss to Burnley and stuff like that. You said, no, let's stick with this guy. He's the right guy for the job. Give him the tools like what you're saying now. Do you feel vindicated by that now? That when you see, you know, 3 games, you know, over Christmas period, all right, people would have expected us to beat West Brom, but the Brighton one was always going to be tough. Poor record we've got there, and nobody expected us to win the Chelsea game. And you would have looked at it and said, right, maybe I'll take an optimistic look. You'd say I'll take 7 points maybe from those games, but we've got all 9. And that's got the team right back on track now.
Yeah, as you know, 3 games, 1 conceded, 8 scored. You know, we would have took that all day long. The one thing that we've struggled with this season is scoring goals, but we're creating chances. We're doing things differently. There's a different energy about the team at the moment. And all it takes is a couple of players that do the right things, and it can completely galvanize and energize a whole entire squad. And, you know, you look at the way Saka's playing, the way that Smith Rowe stepped into the side. That's all it's taken. You know, just the players that want to play for this football club and have the capabilities and the ability of playing for this football club. If we go and strengthen and get some players that we do need to get in, and you add Thomas Partey to this mix as well, let's not forget that. Thomas Partey to this midfield. That's exciting. So this season, look, this season is just weird. I'm not going to paper over any cracks and talk about how, you know, we're only X amount of points behind whoever. At the end of the day, it's been a poor season. There's no getting away from it. But I believe that there's certain reasons as to why it's a poor season. I believe in my manager. I believe that he's going to change things around. But what I do look at is that despite it all, yes, we are in and amongst that area where we could salvage this season. Can we is a different talking point. And we still got a long way to go. You know, we go game by game. We've got a nice little break now from the Premier League, and we go into our favourite competition. And it's an opportunity for some players to, you know, show Mikel that they're ready to knock on the door and do something. And then we got 2 home games back to back within the space of a week, Crystal Palace and Newcastle. You know, and if we can win those 2 games as well, it'd be 5 wins on the spin in the Premier League. Nobody this season has put a consistent run together like that during the course of the Premier League. They always seem to get 2-3 games under their belt, and then there's a stutter. Everyone seems to stutter, which is why the league is so unpredictable this season. And people can sit there and mock and laugh and joke and talk about us being near the relegation zone. And I'll flip that and I'll say, yeah, that's fine. But if you want to suggest that we're near the relegation zone, well, we're 12 points away from the bottom 3. We're now currently 10 points away from top. So if you want to throw at me, we're in a relegation battle, then I can throw at you, we're in a title race. Because by your logic, we're closer to the top than we are the bottom 3. That's not what I'm saying before anybody gets it twisted and uses this as a meme or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to counter argue the people that are throwing that we're relegation fighting, can't hear you all the way down there and this, that. What this league is showing this season is that very quickly, your whole fortunes can change. A month ago, Manchester United fans were talking about Ollie out. Now they're celebrating being joint top. A month ago, Chelsea were being contenders for the Premier League. Now we're 3 points behind them.